Hi, how you doing? Um, it is past time since I have done a hashtag video response. And I thought that it was time that I get back to it and get to work. Part of what took me so long is finding one that I felt like that I really had something to contribute to. There was one that I started to do that was asking about what was your top 5 decks, and I was like, well, you know, if they've watched any of my videos anytime lately, they already know what my top 5 decks are. They haven't changed. I've talked about them quite a bit in other videos, so I didn't really feel like I had anything new to contribute to that one. So here we are today. Let me fix that. That's plucking my nerve. Okay. Here we are today with one that caught my eye, and I said, ooh, this one I can do something with. So this is hashtag decks I would repurchase. Is a video response to AstralLady Tarot. Her link will be down below. But I first saw this on Angel's site, Filling My Soul 1212. And I was like, now some of these decks that I was talking about a while ago, my top 5, some of those are going to be in this video, so oh well. Yeah, that's quite a few. As you're going to see, I have quite a few that I have repurchased, and I will go into that and explain what that's about. Okay, so let me have a sip before we get started. Dr. Pepper Zero. I'm strung out on it just like a dope fiend. Okay, so decks I would repurchase. I'm going to begin. I'm going to start at the beginning. When I first come into TarotTube, I did not know anything about authentic versus fake decks. I didn't have a clue. I didn't know what to look for. All I knew was that this deck was a lot cheaper than that deck. And I thought, save yourself some money. I didn't understand. I didn't know that I was taken out of the creator's pocket. So, I went on a big spending spree. In the beginning, I found this site. And from that site, I bought, as y'all like to call them, a haul. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decks here that I bought that were fake decks. Now, the first one I'm going to show is, and I need to say, I have reordered all of these. I will show you, and have the authentics. But I'm going to show you both copies. The first one that jumped out at me and caught my eye very early on was The Way of the Panda Tarot. Now, this, like I said, is a fake deck. Here's the box. There is no UP seal anywhere that I now know that that's what I'm supposed to look for. It has the information from the original box. There is Kimberly's name and the illustrator's name and Kimberly's site and the year, and I had no idea that this was a fake copy. And I was real excited with myself. I was also at that time really getting into edging my decks, and so I edged this one. I edged it pink. That was another indication that it was a fake. If you buy an authentic Way of the Panda, it comes bamboo green on the sides. She has a second edition out now. For the life of me right this moment, I can't remember what that edition, I'm wanting to say Wonder. Is it the Wonder edition? Because this first one was the Dream edition. I think it's Wonder. And I will have links to the authentic decks that are in this video in the description box down below, including Way of the Panda to her current edition. But this, of course, is what the pandas look like. And I like myself some animal decks, and this one still kind of sticks to the RWS system, which makes it very readable for me, very relatable and very readable for me. But I have pre-ordered that Wonder edition from her, directly from Kimberly, and it is supposed to be here sometime in the next couple of weeks. From what I understand, it'd be somewhere near the end of August. So that was one of the first ones. Now I bought all of these decks, all of these first ones, these fake decks. I bought them together in one shipping. They was like $10 a piece. Like I said, I didn't know the mistake I was making. The second one is Dark Mansion Tarot. The third is Elemental Wisdom. See, there's the UPC on the bottom of that one. But otherwise, everything is just like it's supposed to be. Spirit Song Tarot. Again, UPC on the back. I wondered, I heard people talking about guidebooks. I was new. None of these decks come with a guidebook. Some of them offered the PDF files, and some of them didn't. All of those four was ordered together from a site, and like I said, they was about $10-12 a piece. This one deck I bought from, I live in a very small town, and we have, it's called Trading Post, and in there they have some decks, and they have some crystals, and they have some various things. And I got excited. My friend who introduced me to tarot had this particular deck, and I loved it, and I wanted my own copy. And when I saw this copy in the store and it was $15, I thought, what a great buy. She did not tell me that it might not be a real deck. And it too has the UP seal on the back, and this is the Spirit Animal Oracle. And I was able to find a guidebook online for it, but it just really bothered me. The cards seemed small. They were smaller than my friends, and I couldn't understand. And then when I learned about fake decks, I said, oh, that's the problem. This deck that I bought at this store is a fake deck. So let's just say since then, I have not bought, I would say probably the only thing that I buy from the Trading Post now is things that I buy directly from creators there. pottery, leather goods from local, um, what's the word I'm looking for? From local crafters. I will buy their goods from the Trading Post. I will buy produce. They do have local farmers' produce. I will buy that at the Trading Post. But I don't buy any crystals. I don't buy any decks. I'm real particular about what I purchase from that store. And some would say that they wouldn't support the store at all. But when I buy from these other local crafters, that's the only place that they display their goods. So at least I know the money's going to them. I don't know how much of it is going to them, but I know the money's going to them. So I did end up ordering the Dark Mansion Tarot. I did get the 3rd edition with the clouds on the back, and it is the matte finish, and I absolutely adore this deck. Now, to say that the rip-off copy that I got was, let me show you, it was, let's see, all right, let's just use that one. Let me see if I can find this card so I can show you a comparison. And you would say, well, why did I keep the fake decks? I've been undecided as to whether to just throw them away. And then I decided I wanted to do a vision board. And I was going to incorporate some of them into my vision board to represent tarot. Now, even though they are not authentic, I think they will suffice for that purpose. But I will use them for other uses. I no longer read with them. Okay, watch it be near the bottom. But I want to show you just how faded. There we go. Here is my fake copy. Here is the authentic copy. You can see the difference, not only in size, but also in the integrity of the illustration, the clean lines, the sharpness, the vivid colors. To me, it's just as obvious as night and day now. But that just, my inexperience and uneducation, I had no idea at that time. And the same is true. I'm not going to do this for all of the decks, but I did want to do that for one of them. The same is true for all of these fake decks. They're muted. Some of them are blurry. I know some of the other cards in the Dark Mansion are actually blurry. But they are not sharp, rich colors like this original deck in all of its glory. I mean, when I got this, I was like, oh, it is a huge difference. And I'm glad that I replaced them. So these are decks that I have repurchased. Um, Elemental Wisdom is also a Tarot deck, and again, its colors are rich and vibrant, and it's loosely based on RWS, which makes it easy. Again, I'll say makes it easy for me to read. Look at that beautiful star card. Isn't that gorgeous? But that's Elemental Wisdom. The next one is the Spirit Song Tarot. And like I said, this is an animal deck. Just so happens, I was getting all into edging my decks when I got those first little decks. And every one of them I edged. And the replacements I haven't edged yet. I haven't decided whether I want to edge them or not. And if I do, am I going to edge them in the same color I did before, or whether I'm going to do something differently? So let me know what you think down below. Should I edge these decks too? This one is still in order. But this is the Spirit Song Tarot. And this is a precious deck, animal deck. I absolutely love it. And I've gotten some great readings with this deck. It has, I don't know, almost like a fairy or a fae-like aesthetic to it. But then again, that is because it is by Paulina Faye. Spirit Song is. And it has a fabulous guidebook. It does the message, the keywords, the reversed message, and the reversed keywords for the major arcana. And it does the same thing for the minor arcana. Now, they do change the names of, she did change the names of the suits. Acorns is the element fire, used in place of the traditional wands. So it's acorns instead of wands, feathers instead of swords, shells instead of cups, and crystals in the place of pentacles or coins. Now this one, I did edge this one when I got this one. And I did put it back a darker shade. But you can see how muted that is compared to the richness of this. They're different cards, but you see what I'm talking about. This is muted and blurred. And this is vivid and clear. The other thing I've thought about is I have granddaughters. I have 8 grandchildren, 4 boys, 4 girls. And they see grandma and her cards. And so when they want to play with cards, I hand them these cards instead of my good cards. So this is Colette Baron Reed Spirit Animal Oracle. Isn't that precious, that koala? Just for the hell of it, let's pick one. Okay, let's go with Parrot. Parrot Spirit. Parrot Spirit says Oracle message. It has an Oracle message and a protection message. And let's go with the Oracle. It says, what are you saying to yourself? What message are you repeating? Is it something? The Parrot Spirit says to watch your words. So what are you saying to yourself? What message are you repeating? Is it something that makes you feel good about yourself and reminds you of your strengths and potential? Parrots mimic the sounds around them, and when parrot spirit appears, it's time to be more mindful of your self-talk and its qualities. What do you say to others? Are you repeating what you truly believe? Remembering to speak with light and love can become a habit. Be generous with compliments and thanks, affirming all that is good so that your loving, healing words will be heard throughout the jungle, cutting through the noise and inspiring others. Listen for the words that remind you of all the strength, abundance, and joy in your life and the world around you, and then repeat them, affirming what is real, true, and nurturing to the soul. The universe will reflect back to you the story you tell. Words matter, so choose ones that lift you up and inspire others to remember that beauty surrounds us. Why I love this animal deck. This is a fabulous deck. Okay, so I sped through those. I sped through those, I guess, probably because of the circumstances of how they was acquired. There are 2 more decks that's on this list of decks that I have rebought. And these were rebought by choice. It's 2 indie decks, and then it is copies of their mass markets. And my take on those. So I'm going to start first with my fantabulous The This Might Hurt Tarot by Isabella Rotman. Now this deck is my absolute favorite deck. It is my go-to. It is my workhorse. It is, there's the box inside. There's the cups. There's the pentacles. There's the swords. And there are the wands. this deck is just all of that and then some to me. And it came holograph. I will see if I can get that to show itself off a little bit in the light. Yeah, I think there we go. You're getting to see some of the effects of it. It is absolutely beautiful. The backs are reversible in case you want to read reversals. I personally do not. I tried once upon a time, but someone reminded me that I didn't have to if I didn't want to. And so I stuck to what I knew instead of trying to guess what something means. I understand that reversals can show some of what's up underneath, some of the darker. I'm just not ready to read that yet. So, I read uprights. And this is some of This Might Hurt. I missed the Kickstarter for this, and I saw other people's videos. One was Lisa Papez, and I was like, oh my God. And I went looking for it, and I found Isabella's website, and she had copies of the deck up for sale directly from her off of her website, and that was how I purchased this copy. So I missed all the initial goodies from the Kickstarter. Have no idea what it was, therefore what you don't know you can't miss, right? But I am fully in love with this deck as it is. As you can see, it has body image inclusivity. It's got race inclusivity. It has some age. There's some older there's some older people represented in this deck. There are younger ones, but it's just the expressions. To me, this deck is so expressive that I was able to read this deck from the very first time I picked it up. It is not necessary for me to absolutely use the guidebook, but the guidebook is fabulous. So just for shits and giggles, we will go with the Queen of Swords. Now, the King of Swords, the guidebook has a black and white image, and then it has the description or the information on the right-hand side, and it does that for every card in the deck, major and minor arcana. The King of Swords is in a wheelchair, so it's all-inclusive. Some of everybody is in this deck, but we're looking at the Queen. What does she say about the Queen? The Queen of Swords is one badass bitch. She's ready to cut through all the bullshit that the world piles at her feet. Her decisions are based on logic. She takes emotional factors into account, but doesn't deem them the most important part of the equation. This queen brings truthfulness, clarity, self-awareness, and clear skies. If the Queen of Swords is someone in your life, you can trust her. She will be honest when you need it. She may come off as cold and overly logical sometimes, but she will go to bat for what she believes is right and the people she cares about. Her right hand holds the sword straight up, representing her desire to cut to the truth. She opens her left hand to the world. She's incredibly smart, and you're never going to get one past her. She's intimidating as hell, but she's a friend who you want on your side. If you are the Queen of Swords, it's time to take on her noble virtues, even if they are not the most comfortable for you. Be honest and communicate clearly, putting your emotions aside when they do not improve the situation. Stand up for yourself and others. Love this book. I absolutely love this book. So that is the indie version of This Might Hurt. Curiosity got the best of me. I was like, okay, it's went mass market. Surely there's no way they're going to improve on this deck. I just didn't see any way possible for them to improve it. So I was real curious as to what they was going to do. And I had to have one to find out. So this is This Might Hurt, mass market. It was published by Liminal 11. I will say I like the box. I don't know that I absolutely like it better than the original, because the original is a book style clamshell, but this does the typical Liminal 11, and you've got the flowers and the image she has on the front of this box is right here in this box. And then on the box itself are different cards. This deck I have edged. The card stock is different. It's not, the indie is, it's not matte. I guess it would be like a smooth. I can shuffle it. It is good card stock, but I can still work with the deck, and I can still shuffle it. These cards from Liminal 11 are glossy, front and back. They are slick. Shit will fly everywhere if you're not careful. What they did, this one, like I said, I did edge. These are the backs. They are still reversible, but they're in shades of blue. So I edged it in blue. I think I've done a decent job. The cards are still the same. They're just glossy. So nothing changed as far as the cards are concerned, except for the card stock. They did add one additional card. And this is the additional card. There is an upright and a reverse. They're fighting, and they're loving and comforting. And we will get into the meanings of that card in just a moment. The big difference in the two decks, as fabulous as the guidebook is, for This Might Hurt, the difference is Liminal 11 put the book in color, to where Isabella's original book wasn't all black and white. This book is in color. Also, the difference is the major arcana, it's a full copy of the card on one side, and the exact same description here was in the original book. When you get to the minor arcana, you see, if you look, you'll see kind of like a faded out version of the card along the edge of the page. But again, it is the same description. You don't get a full copy of the card like you do for the major here. Or in the original book, you still had a full black and white copy. This one does not do that. Like I said, you get a little bit of the image, enough of the image along the edge to know what the card looks like. And then in the back, how to read the tarot, performing a reading, reversed card meanings, gives some spreads in here, and talks about special thanks, bibliography, and it's just in the beginning, in the front of the book, she's got her foreword, her introduction. Then she talks about gender and tarot. Tarot tradition is saturated in gender. It's inescapable. As someone who strives to create art that people of all genders can connect with, I found the prominence of binary gender within tarot difficult to reckon with. Traditional tarot decks have a definitive idea of which traits are feminine and which traits are masculine. For example, the Empress represents the softer side of the feminine archetype. She is gentle, motherly, and tied to nature. She has a sensual sexuality. She is pure emotion. The High Priestess represents the darker aspects of the divine feminine archetype. She is hidden and patient. She is intuitive and otherworldly. She's a mystery. Together, the traits of the Empress and the High Priestess represent Tarot's idea of the feminine, a collection of women's qualities as assigned by men. Meanwhile, the Emperor, the father archetype, is ruled by logic. He is not afraid of conflict or taking a leadership role. He is hard, unemotional, and rational. He represents society in contrast to nature. The Magician, also a male archetype, channels what is abstract into the material world. He is a card of action, cultivating magic in a direct path, in contrast to the High Priestess, quiet magic of wisdom. Over and over in tarot, this laundry list of feminine and masculine traits can be found in many different cards. Queens are feminine and therefore represent the internal aspects of the suit, and kings are masculine and therefore external, pushing the ideals of the suit outward onto others. The feminine ideal is patient wisdom. The masculine is implementation and action. What do we, especially those of us who are queer, do with this? Well, it turns out the answer has been in tarot the whole damn time. I was just interpreting things too literally to see it. The goal of most tarot practitioners and designers is balance. The balance of work, of spirituality, of emotions, of material things. Tarot wants us to be in balance, and gender is one of the symbolic elements it uses to talk about that. So when reading this book and using this deck, please keep the following in mind. When I say masculine or feminine, I mean a set of traits that have been assigned as masculine or feminine in the tradition of tarot. When I say man or woman, I am referring to the gender of the character in the card. I am not referring to their biological sex as determined by genitalia. Do not assume because a character has a clearly defined gender that they are cis. In this deck, gender is fluid. If gender matters symbolically to the meaning of the card, I have retained the gender expressed in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. If gender doesn't matter to the symbolic meaning of the card, I may have changed it or removed any gender cues. Your tarot readings want you to find balance. Your right to identify with gendered traits in tarot that are not in alignment with your personal gender identity. You are right to seek harmony in these traits and or gender itself, if that feels right to you. Tarot is gender fluid, so let's read it that way. Another reason why I love her deck. So those are the things. Oh, I wanted to look up this extra card. In here, she talks about the numbered cards, what each of the suits means, each of the courts, what they mean. But this card here is very important, and I'm going to take my glasses off so I can read the book better, so deal with it. Okay. Yeah. This might hurt. This might heal. A girl and a wolf cycle between tender affection and a difficult struggle. In the upright position, the girl tenderly holds the wolf. In the downward position, the girl and the wolf are locked in a desperate battle. The figures are cyclical, with the four symbols of the minor arcana in the corners, suggesting that the struggle and peace are temporary positions in a never-ending cycle. The wolf represents the external world. Risk is inherent in a well-lived life. There will be vibrant joy, crushing pain, and multitudes in between. All experiences that are meaningful, that are truly joyful, can also bring you the most pain. In the downward position with the girl and the wolf fighting at the top, it suggests a time of great difficulty. The external world has bitten you. Times are hard and you're reacting to that hardship. In order to return to equilibrium, acceptance is key. If you fight what has happened to you, blame yourself, or refuse to recognize what is going on, you will add to your own suffering. Accept what has happened, and you can become a stronger person on the other side, able to form meaningful bonds with those who have had similar experiences. And then in the upright position with the girl and the wolf at peace on top, it suggests a time of healing. Humans are social animals that evolve to thrive in community. Connection is the key to our survival and our highest goal. And it is connection with others and the world around that you will facilitate growth. Take care of your people, love your world, and you will also be taking care of and loving yourself. So, those are the highlights of what I think they did differently And in some instances, maybe even a little better than the original indie. I need to get more accustomed to this glossy cardstock. I really like that card. This might hurt, this might heal. I would leave that in the deck for a reading when I use this deck. But I find myself grabbing my indie the most. I guess because it's the one that won my heart. And basically what it comes down to, I never thought myself a cardstock nerd, but basically that's what it comes down to for this deck for me, is I would use this deck a lot more if it were not glossy, because that just makes it so slippery. And when I shuffle, cards go everywhere. So I'm trying to practice to learn how to shuffle and to not be as I guess careless with the cards. The last deck that I have two of is The Unfolding Path by Athene Nokshua. This deck, the cardstock, I absolutely adore. This cardstock is so fabulous. It is a matte, but it's like a smooth matte. So it does not clump. It is easy to shuffle. It is a dream to shuffle. I absolutely love this cardstock and this deck. These are the backs. This is another deck that is modern. It is inclusive. It is age, race, body image, gender, mobility. Did I say age? Inclusive. To me, in my opinion, as much as I love This Might Hurt, this one includes more people, represents more people. I absolutely adore this deck as well. This is my second favorite deck. It is a very, 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 very close second behind This Might Hurt for me. But this is The Unfolding Path. And this deck is absolutely fabulous. I will show you. The Queen of Cups in her body image. Race. Age. This is the High Priestess. The crone represents the High Priestess. Also in here, the Page of Cups is an elderly gentleman. There is also, I think it's the Six of Wands in this deck. That is an individual in a wheelchair. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the Six of Wands. The, I think the Lover's card, in my opinion, I'm not real sure if it's two women or if it's a woman and an androgynous male. But in any case, it's inclusive. And that's, for me, not the main factor of the card. There's our page. See our page of cups? Little old bald-headed man with his precious little self. But this deck is so beautiful. It's so inclusive. I absolutely adore it. There's our Fool. The Magician. The only thing, the only complaint, well, not a big fan of this foam. The deck slides up underneath this foam sometimes. Some of the cards do. So I'm not a real big fan of that. So, yeah, I guess I don't really care a lot for the box. And it's a large box. So I'm not a real big fan of the box. But my biggest complaint about this deck was that it came with this. In lieu of a guidebook, we got this. This fold-out pamphlet. And I was very disappointed about that. And, you know, they made a big deal about the World card. That's the World card. So, what did they do with the mass market, you may say? Okay. Hay House picked it up in under a year. Very quickly. And went mass market. And this is the front of the box. The sides. The back. She says the 78 tarot deck featuring beautifully reimagined archetypes and modern diverse characters will guide you as you explore the infinite paths your life can take. With unique interpretations of traditional Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, the Unfolding Path Tarot introduces a dazzling community of animals, plants, and people. The deck's vibrant artwork, insightful guidebook, and extra sprinkle of magic create the perfect compass for self-discovery. That's the inside of the box, which is the Ace of Cups. The inside of the bottom, which is the Star card. And the bottom looks like this. The cardstock, it's not, well, it's kind of like a smooth matte, but it's different than the Indie. Not a lot. It's not too different from the Indie. It's just a little bit stiffer than the Indie. But the cards do not clump. And there's that Lovers card I was talking about. Now, is that two women or is that a woman and an androgynous male? I'm not real sure. I don't know that it doesn't bother me either way. But the cards are fabulous. I mean, the back's exactly the same. Everything, the cards are identical. The only thing different about the cards is the cardstock. And it's not, like I said, this is a little bit stiffer than the indie. So for that reason, I prefer the indie deck. However, when I found out that the mass market was going to have a guidebook, that was the whole purpose of my purchase. We have a full-fledged guidebook. Contents, we have Tarot Basics, Using the Unfolding Path Tarot. We have card spreads, the Major Arcana, the Minor Arcana, About the Author, and Acknowledgements. And okay, just for the purpose of comparison, this happened to be on top, so we're going to work with it. So, the Lovers. Now, in the indie version, these are the keywords that I were given. That's all we got on this pamphlet was keywords. So, the keywords for the Lovers is love, union, choices, desire, duality, commitment, relationships, aligned values. Okay, that's all we got with the indie. With our mass market, love, relationships, choices, duality, union, commitment, desire, aligned values. Sound familiar? Two hearts beat a little faster as there is something new and exciting on the horizon. The Lover's card represents a true and loving. Okay, where did we find it? The Lover's card represents a true and loving relationship and a deep connection. This card can speak of both a romantic relationship or a lasting friendship. The most beautiful relationships succeed because both parties make the commitment every day to choose the path of loving with an open heart and resisting harshness and easy irritation. The most beautiful love affair is the one you have with yourself. Nurture self-love with as much care as you do romantic love. Do you see? As much as I love my indie version, as much as I paid for my indie version, this guidebook is just fabulous. And it does the same thing for the Minor Arcana. The exact same identical thing. It repeats the keywords from the pamphlet and then has a description or message for the card. And I'll also go on record and say that the mass market was way yonder cheaper. Way cheaper. than the indie version. The indie come from the UK. I'm in the US, so I had to pay the extra shipping. And the mass market was already way below that. But now Hay House, today, as of August the 21st, when I'm taping this, has a sale going, 50%. Just for shits and giggles, the deck is shown in that 50% sale. I clicked on it just for the hell of it. It's $12.50 for this deck right now. So if you do not have the unfolding path and have considered it at all, it is on sale for $12.50 US until August the 25th. Now is the time to jump on it. A lot of their decks is half price. If you spend $25, it's free shipping. That's in the US. I'm not sure how that translates for Canada or other countries, but $12.50 for this deck. Yes, please. If I didn't have it, I would buy it. But these are my decks that I have bought again, and why I bought them, and my impressions and my comparisons. In case I wasn't too very clear or someone gets the wrong impression, I do not condone or what's the word I'm looking for here? I think you're doing a disservice to the creator if you buy fake decks. I think it's still in their artwork. I think it's still in their hard work that they've put into the deck, the love, the care, the everything that it takes into making a deck. For some, that process is years in the building. But I think that they are due every penny that they can get from the sale of their deck for their work. No one wants to work for free. And the same is true of artists and creators of tarot decks or of any other spiritual medium. So I wanted to be clear about that. I have repurchased every single fake deck that I have ever purchased. Some of the fakes, like I said, I'm undecided what to do with them. I do have plans on using some of them in a vision board. I do let my grandchildren play with them. So I don't know if I'll be throwing them away, but you will not see them on this channel. I will not do readings with them on this channel or in person or for others. That's what I have these for. So these are the decks that I've repurchased and why I repurchased them. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Each of these decks, I will have a link to the authentic version of each of these decks for you to acquire them for yourself if you're interested. Let me know down below if you have any of these decks. Did you have the indie versions of any of these decks and then decide to buy the mass market versions? Because from what I understand, some of these other decks also were indie decks once upon a time and are now mass market. I bought them mass market. Let me know. Let me know what you think of these decks. Um, Let me know if you agree or disagree on my takes, my impressions for these decks. Let me know if you're going to do a VR to this hashtag yourself. I'd love to come see yours. I do. If you have already subscribed to my channel, thank you. I am grateful for your support. If you have not subscribed, please click subscribe. Comment down below. Like I said, have that interaction with me. Let's talk about it. Also, give me feedback on what I could have done differently or better. Make suggestions for other content you'd like to see me to create. Speaking of other content, I do a monthly forecast of decks that I'm going to showcase that month, the decks that I'm going to use. I also do these first impressions of decks, like an unboxing, first impression flip throughs. And then I also do deep dives into decks that I've had for longer periods of time and have worked with on a more extensive basis. I do those. I do hashtag VRs like this one. Again, this was to, I've seen it on Angel's channel, Feeding My Soul 1212, but this is a video response to AstralLady Tarot. I will have links to both of those ladies in the description box below as well. Go see both of them at their channel and give them some love as well. Thank you for being with me today, and I hope to see you again real soon. Bye.